In this episode, I provide a clear directive to all men. When it comes to manhood, love, relationships, or anything having to do with your role as a man, stop listening to women. Women cannot define who we are as men in any realm of life. Why? They're women. It is biologically and emotionally impossible for any woman to define what it is completely to be a man, just as it is biologically and emotionally impossible for any man to define what it is completely to be a woman. No amount of empathy, compassion, concern, or intellectual insight can help any of us define completely what it is to be something that we are not. At best, we can just guess. Some might guess better than others, but in the imagination game, it's all a crapshoot. Which brings us to the actual definition of manhood. Well, I'm not going to offer you one. It's up to you to figure out for yourselves what it means to be a man. I can, however, provide one clear directive once again, that you define what it is to be a man without the aid of women. This brings me to our public discourse on relationships. The definitions of what it means to be a man usually come up within this sphere. No man is an island, and we're often defined by our interactions with others. The problem is that the public discourse on relationships is controlled and dominated by two groups: women and the therapeutic industry. Now, sure, there are some men who write about relationships, both inside and outside the therapeutic industry. But it doesn't take much research to see that the vast majority of relationship articles, books, television shows, etc., with the exception of a few famous examples, are authored by women or directed towards women. In this public discourse, two things have happened. One, manhood has become defined around the needs and desires of women, and two, womanhood has become defined around the needs and desires of women. We are now only men to the extent that we serve the needs and desires of women. We are defined as men only through our relationships with others, who just happen to be women. It's as if the slave would no longer exist if the slave owner died. The therapeutic industry, with its feminized language, also serves to dominate the discourse from a female perspective. The therapeutic industry is full of feminist language and so-called professionals, both male and female, who are trained only to see things through this language. As men, we're so used to referring to this discourse and trying to define ourselves, we've lost all sense of autonomy. We've become cogs in a debate framed by others, without even a notion of our own emotional or intellectual independence. This is not symbiosis, this is slavery. For years now, we've been parasites feeding off a selfish host. Feeling hungry? What do women think? Who cares? It's what you think that's important. What do you believe? What do you see when you step back and take a look at that big forest? It's our job to become men, not someone else's definition of men. Only we can become what we're meant to become. Having trouble in your relationship? Having trouble figuring out your place in the grand scheme of things? Find another wiser man and talk to him about it. You'll get there. You'll hash it out. But don't go to the hardware store for eggs. If you have man problems, go to a man to figure them out. It's the only way. The famous painting you see here is by Caspar David Friedrich. It's called Wanderer Above the Sea Fog. The man in the painting is you, alone, watching the mist, trying to figure out who you are and what your place is in the world. It's what all men must inevitably do alone, without the aid of others. The time has come. Listen to yourself. You'll find the answers. See you next time.